Hello guys. So in this video we will see iterative statements, that is loops in Python. So basically we have two loop statements in Python. So we have a for loop and we have a while loop. So we'll be looking at this both and how do we write and what are the syntax for this both in Python. Okay. Now very important. Okay, we'll see the difference also and when to use while and when to use for loop in your Python while solving a problem statement, right? Okay, so first I'll explain the while loop. Okay, now consider I have to write some, maybe hello, maybe I have to write some statement. Okay, now if that statement is repeated multiple times like this, if you see here, if the statement is repeated multiple times like this, so what you can see, there is a very big redundancy here, right? So to avoid such big redundancy, what you can do is you can write this one time and you can have a mean or some set of statements to say that repeat this 5 or 10 times. So that is where we will be using loops. So for that we can use while loop. Okay, now while loop goes this way. You have while followed by, you have to give a condition and then you have to give the action to perform based on the condition, if that condition is true or false. Okay, so here I'll create an initial variable called as 1. So this is to basically, this is like a counter to keep the count. Okay, so I'll say while my I is lesser than or equal to 5, you have to print hello. So in this case what happens, it goes in infinite loops, so it keeps printing hello infinite number of times. Now the reason to this is, here I have 1, okay, and then I'm checking the condition 1 is lesser than 5 and it prints this, then again checks the condition 1 is greater than 5, lesser than 5, that is 1. We are not updating the counter variable. So that is why you have to make sure whenever you're writing like this program, you have to do the updation of your condition variable also, or else it will go in infinite loop. So now if I run this, so see, it prints only 5 times and stops. The reason is it prints until unless this condition is true. Once this condition is false, it comes outside the loop, that is it stops the or halts the program. So this is how you use while loop. Okay, now for loop, so in while loop you give condition for it to be true and then you iterate and perform the action. In for loop what happens, we use for loop to iterate over some sequence of data. Say for example I have a list here, so I'll say lt. Okay, I'll say 1 2 3 4 5. So if I have to iterate over every element inside a list, then I will be using for loop. So I'll say for I in lt and then I'm going to print I. So you see, I will be this set of individual elements as you can see here. So while loop you use to iterate based on some condition. For loop you use to iterate based on element or data in a sequence, stored in a sequence. It can be a string also. I can do the same thing with string also. I can say name is equals to Aman and then I can say for char in name. So it is going to return me individual character because it is a sequence of data, right? Sequence. So this is where you use your for loop. So this is the syntax for loop and this is the syntax and example for your while loop in Python.